Halloween is often sold to us as a night of flashy costumes and throwaway thrills, but the real magic, it's in becoming someone whose look says more than just cool costume. Someone with a certain mystique, someone that makes you feel something. Picture a fairy tale princess whose golden ringlets haunt our daydreams, a real-life witch queen in white lace, a gothic seductive matriarch, a technicolor farm girl with a murderous grin, and a doe-eyed heroine in baby blue who unwittingly spawns the devil's child. These 5 muses span innocence and darkness, glamour and core, and each offers a blueprint for a Halloween look that's both iconic and illegally arresting. We'll get skin deep into their stories, uncover what made their looks stick, and show how you can steal their style for your own enchanted evening. Oh, and stick around, practical beauty tricks are woven right in.
Welcome. I'm Kira, and this is your beauty blueprint.
If you only have 30 seconds, here's the bottom line of this video. This year, skip the cheap plastic costume. Instead, draw inspiration from these 5 heroines. From glamorous ghoul to a technicolor terror, each a niche Halloween icon in her own right. They prove that the most spellbinding looks must come with a nerve-tickling story. But if you'd like a bit more of an explanation, follow me. Settle in, maybe nibble a caramelized poison apple, and let's begin by confronting a little truth about Halloween. For years, we've been fed a lie that Halloween is all about the quick fix, the prepackaged cape, the one-size-fits-nobody polyester hat. It's a lie of mass-market convenience, a temptation of the shallowest sort. Sure, it's easy to grab a costume off the rack, but it's also forgettable. The real game of dressing up, the reason Halloween gives us these excited chills, is the chance to become a character, to evoke entire atmospheres with just our looks. Why settle for cookie-cutter costumes when you could become someone cultish for a night? The 5 inspirations we're about to explore aren't just outfits, they're attitudes and their eras. And each one is a little antidote to the mass-produced Halloween aisle. Each one, in her own way, is a rebel who can help us reclaim Halloween's creative soul. Now, let's start nice and light, with perhaps the least spooky of the bunch, a princess from a faraway kingdom. ButterCup from The Princess Bride might not be the first name that comes to mind for Halloween, but she's a fantasy worth revisiting. In a film filled with quirky heroes and quotable one-liners, ButterCup is the golden classic beauty thread that ties it all together. Played by a young Robin Wright, she is all dewy innocence and understated allure. After seeing The Princess Bride, what girl hasn't longed, if only momentarily, for waist-length blonde ringlets and flawless sun-kissed skin? The film may be a tongue-in-cheek fairy tale, but ButterCup's look is played straight. She is the archetypal storybook princess. Waist-length hair cascading in soft curls, a face that seems permanently lit by soft summer light, and a wardrobe of flowing medieval gowns in rich hues. In an era, the late 80s, of loud fashion and heavy makeup, ButterCup stood out by looking fresh-faced and old-timeless. Her beauty was deliberately natural. Her blonde hair wasn't styled into the big sprayed bangs of the 80s. Her makeup was minimal, emphasizing clear skin and a hint of flush, as if she'd just been kissing her true love in a field. Even that iconic red gown she wears had a simple, elegant silhouette. ButterCup really is an avatar of romantic daydreams. How to get ButterCup's look? Think hair and glow. ButterCup is all about that hair. Long, free-flowing locks with a slight curl. As for makeup, keep it sheer and fresh. Aim for flawless, sun-kissed skin. A dewy foundation or tinted moisturizer and a touch of peachy blush on the apples of your cheeks. Add a swipe of soft pink or nude lip color to enhance your lips without looking obviously made up. For the outfit, a long flowing dress in a deep sunset red will instantly read princess. Accessory-wise, ButterCup is a peasant-turned-princess, so you can go with minimal jewelry, perhaps a simple gold tone necklace or a medieval-style pendant for effect. Now, if ButterCup is the innocent daylight side of our Halloween inspirations, our next muse is the midnight side, all moonlight, secrets, and a little naked witchcraft, literally. Enter Maxine Sanders, often dubbed the Witch Queen of swinging London. In the late 60s, while hippies in San Francisco painted flowers on their cheeks, Maxine was performing occult rituals in the English countryside, sometimes robed in lace, sometimes sky-clad, that's witch speak for nude, always with a flair for the dramatic. She and her husband Alex Sanders founded the Alexandrian Wicca tradition and turned it into a media sensation. Think of Maxine as part high priestess, part performance artist. Journalists in that era weren't ready for a beautiful young witch conducting ceremonies by candlelight, wearing nothing but a silver pentacle necklace and a smile. The headlines wrote themselves. For a time, it was said that Maxine had the most documented backside in Britain. Tabloids splashed photos of her scantily clad rituals, and she became the face of a new, strangely glamorous occult movement. But what's fascinating is how intentional Maxine was about her image. She understood the power of style. One day she might be the picture of English refinement, and the next day she'd be seen in a ceremonial circle, long hair loose down her back, in a sheer white lace robe, surrounded by daggers and chalices as firelight danced over her skin. This contrast was the key to her appeal. She was both posh and primal. As one writer described her, Maxine effortlessly blurs earthly frivolity with otherworldly grandeur. And always there was a sense of theatricality. Maxine once wore a crocheted purple dress to a film director's party. When a loose thread caught, the dress began unraveling. She ended up almost completely naked in front of a room of dazzled guests, a mishap she recounted later with a cunning smile. Witches are not meant to be wallflowers. Maxine's ritual look is especially rich with symbolism. Unlike the stereotypical Halloween witch in a pointy hat and warty nose, Maxine's vibe was more pre-Raphaelite sorceress. She deliberately favored white lace over black cloaks. That gave her an aura of innocence. Photographs from the era show her in diaphanous white robes, often translucent enough to scandalize, looking like some pagan goddess of love rather than a craggy crone. Her hair, famously, was a pure long mane that even mermaids would envy. That added a touch of earthly innocence to her daring ensembles, making their impact more Earth Mother than Gothic witch, as Olivia Singer noted, and perhaps making all that nudity feel somehow artistic. But Maxine also knew how to add edge. In one famous photo, she stands holding a ritual dagger, yet your eye is drawn to her face, where she's painted her lips blood red. That sensuously bloodied mouth was no accident. It was Maxine's way of commanding the camera to focus on her expression. Even in the midst of natural style, makeup can be a powerful tool. And let's not forget her accessories. Silver bangles jangling on her wrists, beaded talismans around her neck, all adding to that casual hippie meets high priestess vibe. How do we imitate Maxine Sanders' look today? The key is to mix ethereal and daring. A long white lace dress or robe is ideal. Check your local vintage shop or even a boho wedding dress. The more flowing and bell-sleeved, the better. Go sheer if you dare. Maxine often went barefoot, so you too could skip shoes if you're indoors. Next, hair. Go for loose, airy waves. The style should be soft, a bit tousled. If you're not blonde, that's fine. It's the texture that matters most. Though a very dark, witchy look would steer you more toward Morticia, whom we'll get to soon. Keep the skin looking natural and almost dewy. Think goddess emerging from a mist. A touch of highlight on shoulders and cheeks can give you that candlelit glow. And definitely do a strong lip for Maxine. This nod to her ritual lipstick trick will give you that subtle power Maxine wielded. Carry a prop if you want to go all out, perhaps a ceremonial dagger or a letter opener or a chalice, or simply a candle that you hold dramatically. Stand tall, give a knowing smile like you're in on a secret, and maybe drop a mysterious line here and there. You're not just some witch in a pointy hat. You're the witch queen, equal parts class and cult. Curious to hear about a more familiar character now. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten the most famous goth mother of them all. Keep watching. The next inspiration practically invented spooky chic. That brings us to Morticia Addams, the matriarch of the Addams family, a woman who has never met a shade of black she didn't love. Now, Morticia is in many ways the polar opposite of Maxine. Where Maxine wore white to her rituals and reveled in light to surprise you, Morticia is all about the dark side. Yet they share one thing, an unshakable sense of identity. Morticia is perhaps the ultimate Gothic style icon, a character conceived originally by cartoonist Charles Addams in the 1930s as a satirical inversion of the perfect American housewife. Over the decades, she became something more, a subcultural heroine. In the 60s TV series, actress Carolyn Jones first brought Morticia to life, slinky and sweetly eerie with a genteel, soft-spoken manner. Then, in the early 90s, Angelica Houston's film portrayal burned Morticia's image into the collective memory. Houston's Morticia was sultry, regal, and wickedly funny. Her line,
"Don't torture yourself, Gomez. That's my job,"
delivered in a dry purr, is Morticia's ethos in a nutshell. Most recently, Catherine Zeta-Jones picked up the mantle in the Wednesday Netflix series and brought a modern glamour to Morticia while keeping her deliciously ooky spirit intact. Through all these incarnations, certain constants remain. Morticia is glamorous, Morticia is unapologetically weird, and Morticia is sexy precisely because she doesn't give a damn about conventional norms. Now let's talk about Morticia's look, which has stayed remarkably consistent and become instantly recognizable in pop culture. The silhouette, long slinky black gown, form-fitting to every curve, and flaring out at the bottom like a fishtail or a black flame. But it's always head to toe black, as if she's in perpetual mourning. In contrast to her pale skin, the black gowns made her look like a moving shadow. And we can't forget those little tendrils, the subtle octopus-like drapery that often trails from her sleeves or hem, adding an eerie will-o'-the-wisp effect when she glides around. Now, move to her face and you see where the real drama is. Morticia's makeup is legendary. We're talking blood-red lips and matching crimson nails, sharpened to a sinister point. Her skin is powdered to a near bloodless pallor. She makes snow look tan. She has inky raven hair, so sleek and straight it could be a satin curtain, usually parted severely down the middle and cascading all the way to her waist or hips. Her eyes are heavily defined, typically a smoky charcoal gray on the lids, the signature charcoal crease, a dramatic eyeshadow that hollows out her eye sockets just enough to be glamorous, ghoulish. In the 60s show, Carolyn Jones often sported a fine black eyeliner flick and thick lashes, while Houston's Morticia had a more smoldering mix of grays and a sharp contour to her cheekbones. The overall effect is mesmerizing. Morticia looks like a cross between a vampire countess and a 1940s film noir femme fatale. Crucially though, she's not portrayed as evil or undead. She's very much alive, loving and amused by life, in her own dark way. Becoming Morticia for a night is arguably one of the most satisfying Halloween transformations, because it's equal parts elegance and camp. One last piece of advice. Morticia has an unhurried gliding walk, almost as if her feet don't touch the ground. Keep your chin slightly tilted up, as if you're always looking down your nose in the most politely disdainful way, and practice an alluring, slow smile. At the party, respond to compliments with a languid "thank you, darling." Have fun with it. You're paying tribute to a character who has made being creepy terribly sexy. We've danced with the dark side of a classic character, but our next inspiration puts a twisted new spin on the idea of the all-American ingenue. Just when you think you know where this is going, a young woman in a frilly dress enters with an axe. Intrigued? Watch on. Now for a more recent addition to the pantheon of Halloween muses, Mia Goth's character, Pearl. If Morticia is the queen of monochrome darkness, Pearl is the technicolor nightmare hidden inside a daydream. Pearl explodes on screen in candy-colored hues. Think the Wizard of Oz. But if Dorothy went homicidal? In fact, that's exactly the point. Pearl is a wide-eyed farm girl in 1918 with dreams of stardom, who slowly, well, not that slowly, spirals into violent madness when her dreams are thwarted. The genius of the character's presentation is that she looks like a sweet-hearted starlet from an old Hollywood musical, but behaves like a burgeoning serial killer. Actress Mia Goth, who co-wrote the film, delivers an unforgettable performance. Visually, Pearl's design pays homage to classic cinema. The director reportedly almost shot the film in black and white, but then decided to go the opposite way. Full-on Technicolor inspired, almost like a Disney movie. The sky is a little too blue, the barnyard corn a little too golden, and Pearl's dresses an unnaturally vibrant red and cheery white and blue. It's an aesthetic of delicious deceit. Everything looks bright and wholesome, which only makes the horror more shocking. Pearl herself is of this contrast. On the outside, she's lively, smiling, even adorable. She sings while doing her chores, greets farm animals like they're her audience. She is all girlish charm and hope. But that's just the facade. When things fall apart for Pearl, when her fragile psyche cracks, the dominant color left is red. The red of blood, and of that now infamous final outfit. Let's zoom in on that infamous look Pearl is remembered for. In the film's climactic sequences, Pearl's prim glamour peaks. She puts on her mother's best dress for an audition, a long, high-collared dress of scarlet red with puff sleeves and a slightly old-fashioned Edwardian silhouette. It's been pointed out that this red dress is like a twisted mirror image of Dorothy's famous blue gingham dress from Oz. Dorothy's dress was short, youthful, innocent. Pearl's borrowed dress is long, mature, and, in context, utterly deranged. During the audition and its aftermath, Pearl's cheery veneer finally shatters. There's a scene now seared into every horror fan's memory. Pearl, having faced rejection, doubles over in anguish and rage, bends at the waist in that scarlet gown and howls,
"No, I'm a star! Please, I'm a star!"
It's operatic, chilling, and weirdly heartbreaking. Critics have rightly hailed Pearl as a new kind of horror villain, one wrapped up in the glitter of old Hollywood nostalgia. As Filthy Dreams magazine put it, Pearl is a demented love letter to Golden Age Hollywood's women on the verge. Think the delusional aging star of Sunset Boulevard, or the obsessive child star in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. She yearns for Technicolor glory, but instead of singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, she's poking geese and, eventually, people. And yet, because of that longing in her eyes, you root for her. Now, for Halloween, it's a perfect choice if you want a costume that's a bit obscure, points for horror film cred, but still visually stunning without supernatural props. Pearl is human, just not a very nice one. So first, the dress. Absolutely, it should be red. Aim for that prim 20s silhouette, something long with sleeves. A modest cut is good. Remember, Pearl is a farmer's daughter borrowing her strict mother's Sunday best. Check thrift stores for anything in that vein. Even a Victorian-style nightgown could be dyed red. Next, the hair. Pearl wears her brunette hair in a style that nods to Dorothy Gale. She often has two braids, but instead of hanging down, they're looped up into two little braided buns or coils at the sides of her head, tied with blue ribbons. This gives her a girlish, almost schoolgirl appearance, very deceiving. For dramatic effect, you could replicate the final scenes where Pearl has been crying. Purposely smudge some eyeliner or mascara around the lower lashes to hint at tears. Now, Pearl's best prop is a weapon. In Pearl, she uses a pitchfork and an axe. And consider adding some fake blood stains to your costume, perhaps on the hems or on your hands or forearms as if you've been busy. Start the evening as the polite, eager-to-please Pearl. Big smile, hands clasped in front of you, maybe doing a little curtsy or humming. Then, as the night goes on, let that smile falter into a wide-eyed, thousand-yard stare. Tilt your head and don't blink for an uncomfortably long moment while grinning. Congratulations, you've just imitated that chilling final shot of Pearl's breakdown. If someone asks who you are, you might coyly say something like, "Oh, I'm Pearl. I always wanted to be a star," with a hint of a southern drawl. Those who know will get a delighted chill. Those who don't will just think you're a slightly deranged vintage belle, which either way is Halloween gold. Well, so far we've paraded a princess, a witch, a goth, and a psychopath. Quite the lineup. For our final inspiration, we're going to dial down the color and amp up the psychological horror. Can an innocent pixie-cut blonde in a baby blue nightgown be more terrifying than all the rest? In our last chapter, she just might. Rosemary Woodhouse from 1968's Rosemary's Baby earns her place on this list because her story is the ultimate horror. Mother unknowingly carrying the spawn of Satan. Anyone? And her look is a masterclass in subtle, subversive style. Here's a woman who influenced fashion runways without ever trying, all while being gaslit by a coven of elderly New York neighbors. Director Roman Polanski intentionally made Rosemary, played by Mia Farrow, look as ordinary and sweet as possible. He wanted the audience lulled into a false sense of security. Polanski said, "Let's make them think we're doing a Doris Day movie," meaning every outfit on Rosemary would be so normal and charming that viewers would never suspect the horror until it was upon them. The result, Rosemary appears as the epitome of a wholesome 60s young wife. Color combinations stand out, like the light blue paired with white, the colors traditionally associated with the Virgin Mary. The costumes are deceptively simple, little Peter Pan collars, demure knee lengths, but they're doing a ton of work to disarm the viewer. And it works. And then, after the baby is born and the awful truth revealed, Rosemary, pale and exhausted, arms herself with a kitchen knife and ventures to confront the coven next door. What is she wearing for this climactic confrontation? A long baby blue nightgown with frilly trim, looking every bit the delicate new mother except for the fierce determination in her eyes. No makeup, barefoot, her pixie hair slightly grown out and tousled. Rosemary's final outfit also subtly influenced decades of horror to come. The image of a woman in a flowing nightgown clutching a knife became a trope. See also Wendy in The Shining in her bathrobe with a knife. This one's a subtler costume than the others, but incredibly effective if you get the details right. Thrift stores might still have the authentic 60s nightgowns or dresses. Look for something with sleeves and a sweet touch like a Peter Pan collar or lace trim. The more innocent it looks, the better. Remember, the horror comes from the contrast. Next, hair. Unless you're willing to chop your hair into a pixie, hey, it's a commitment to the bit, and Vidal Sassoon would approve.
I've been to Vidal Sassoon.
You might want a short pixie cut wig. Style it sleek and side-swept. A dab of pomade can help piece out the bangs a bit. Makeup for Rosemary should be minimal. She's not a vamp or a witch. She's a fresh young housewife. Now, consider adding a few storytelling props. 1, you can carry a pendant that could pass as that charm her witchy neighbors gave her, with cursed tannis root. It's obscure, but Rosemary fans will love it. 2, you could carry a kitchen knife. 3, a baby doll wrapped in a blanket, the demon baby that we never get to see. Look nervously over your shoulder, cradle your stomach or the doll protectively, and ask people,
The baby, where is it? Where's my baby?
with wide, anxious eyes. Stick with Rosemary and you'll have one of the classiest yet creepiest costumes in the room. After all, you are to become the woman who literally gave birth to the horror genre's most infamous child. Even while upending Christianity and birthing the devil, a woman can still have fabulous style. Now that's a Halloween statement.